Good morning, everybody. Thank you very welcome for our lesson today. Today we want to talk about international cooperation, and these are bodies formed internationally to make sure that they help the countries across the world to solve different problems, economically, politically, and you have socially. So we shall look at we have what we call United Nations. Then we have the Commonwealth, and then we have the United African Union. So those are some of the major world organizations we are going to look at. So we shall start with what we call the United Nations. Now, United Nations was formed in the year 1945 after the Second World War. We say that in 1945 there was an end of Second World War, which was marked by the bombing of Japan cities by the United States of America, by the bombs. Then we said United Nations organization was formed mainly to bring peace in the world and prevent the outbreak of another world war. So this one was formed in 1945 to replace the early organization, which was called the League of Nations. So League of Nations, this one was formed in 1919 after the First World War. First World War began in 1914 to around 1918. So when it ended, they formed the League of Nations, 1919. Then Second World War outbroke in 1939 to 1945. So at the end of the Second World War, that's 1945, this is where now the United Nations was formed. Now, we shall look at the reasons for formation of the United Nations. Reason number one, to promote peace in the world. That one is the main. So to promote peace in the world, that is the main reason why United Nations was formed. Mainly to make sure that the countries live in peace. Then also to end the war. To end the war that was still going on in a small amount. Then we have to prevent outbreak of another world war. So it meant also to prevent the outbreak of another world war, because we know very well that the Second World War was very destructive. Very many countries were destroyed. Very many lives were also destroyed, and even the properties. So that it is. Then number three, this one also was to prevent or to rebuild the countries destroyed during the war. Like we have said, countries like Japan. We have said a country like this Asian country called Japan was destroyed by the USA, United States of America Army, when they bombed the two cities we have talked about, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So that's what you're talking about. Then we have to resettle the displaced. We call them internally displaced people, ITB, and also some of them ran away from their countries to other countries for the safety, so they became refugees. So there was need for this United Nations to resettle them, the refugees. So it was formed also to resettle the refugees and those displaced by war. I think that's the reason for formation of United Nations. Then United Nations has around 30 agencies, but we shall look at the major ones. Agencies are branches. So it has very many agencies across the world with the different headquarters in different nations in Africa, in Asia, and also talk about Europe continent. So we shall start with this one. We called it UNICEF. The headquarters is found in New York, United States of America. That is UNICEF. It means United Nations International Children Education Fund. So it mostly to improve education of the children and their health, then the health of their mothers. To also promote the health of their mothers. That one is also what we call now the UNICEF. So it is. Then we have another one, so it is here. Sorry. Then we have what we call UNESCO. UNESCO means United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. So it mostly deals with the science, things to do with the research in very different fields. So it deals with the exchange of ideas from different fields, experts and so on. Then we have research in different fields, as we have said. So that is what we call UNESCO. Then we have UNHCR. That one means United Nations High Commission for Refugees. United Nations High Commission for Refugees. So this one protects and resettle the refugees. Refugees are those people who have run away from their countries to other countries because of civil war or hunger or even the calamities like floods and so on. So those are what we call the refugees. So the main role of UNHCR is mainly to protect and resettle the refugees and also provide the basic needs for the refugees in their camps and so on. You can talk about some of the Kakuma camp in Kenya, and then we have also the Dadaab camp in Kenya, where we have very many refugees from other countries like Somalia, Ethiopia, and other countries across the region. So then we have what you call the World Bank Organization, World Health Organization. We call it WHO. So you can write like this in short, WHO. So it's called World Health Organization. That is what we call WHO. So this one deals with research, mainly in field diseases, medicine, to provide vaccination. Then also have treatments of different diseases, like what is happening right now, the outbreak of COVID-19, the coronavirus. We know very well these agents of UN, WHO, or the World Health Organization, is really working hard to come up with a vaccine against the pandemic. So that is the role. Then we have what we call FAO. Then we have said FAO means Food Agriculture Organization, Food and Agriculture Organization. This encourages forestry. Forestry is planting and taking care of trees. Then we have agriculture, taking care of animals, so that because we know very well this is our food. Then we have also crop growing, that's also still agriculture. Then we have what we call food security. So FAO deals with the issue of forestry, agriculture, and then we have food security in the country. And then we have what we call UNEP. UNEP means United Nations Environmental Program. United Nations Environmental Program. So the headquarter, HQ, that's the headquarter, is in Nairobi, Kenya. So you'll find it there. It mostly promotes environmental conservation, the conservation of environment by planting of trees, cleaning of the environment, because we know very well the issue of environment is very vital when it comes to human life and even animals. So that's what you're talking about. It also deals with the education on the environment. So we have very many summits or meetings which are held across the world, and the members are educated how to take care of the environment in their respective countries. And then we have another one called World Food Program, WFP. So this one distributes food, we call it relief food, to the refugees. Then we have the poor. Then we have the hunger-stricken areas. So that is the function of WFP. It distributes food to the refugees, the poor, and then we have areas stricken by the hunger that it is. Then we have what we call World Bank. World Bank deals with financial support and also standardize the economy of the world. For example, when you talk about the exchange, stock exchange in terms of money, talk about US dollars, talk about Kenyan shillings and South African rands, those are the things you are looking at. So they standardize. Also they look at the value of any currency of any country and so on. So they make sure that the economy of the world is running well without exploitation from the superpower countries like those that are on top. Then we have UN, or United Nations, as also what we call the Security Council. So the Security Council provides what we call the armies to provide peace in the region affected. Like you have seen areas where people are fighting, like Horn of Africa, very many people are fighting. Talk about Nigeria, Boko Haram. So the United Nations normally send the armies, we call the AMISOM. They go there to provide security in those areas. So that's the role of the Security Council. So, and those members or armies, they come from members of the UN, whether Africa, whether Asian countries, and even Europe. So they are here. Then Security Council have what we call the 5 permanent members. Those are one of the superpower of the world when it comes to war. So number 1, we have United States of America. It's a permanent member. It's not elected. They are permanent throughout. And then we have Russia. Russia is also very good when it comes to a military organization. Then we have France. And then we have China. Lastly, we have Britain. So those are the permanent members of the Security Council of the United Nations. Then we have the other members are elected. You shall also know them, but these are the permanent one. Then lastly, it has also a judicial system. It has an international court. It's called ICC, International Criminal Court, that is located in Netherlands, The Hague. So you'll find it here. That is about United Nations. I think next we shall look at Commonwealth. Okay, so we want to look at another world body or organization or a corporation, and that is called Commonwealth. Commonwealth is an organization made up of former colonies of Britain. So all members who are colonized by the Britain, they form what we call the Commonwealth. The main reason for formation of Commonwealth was to bring close relationship between the members or the former colonies of Britain. Talk about Kenya, talk about Egypt and other countries. All members that were colonized by Britain, they are the one that form an organization called Commonwealth. It's led by a British monarch. We know very well it's a kingdom which is headed at UK. That is London, the headquarter of Britain. The earliest members of Commonwealth, we have the New Zealand, we have Canada, then we have Australia. So those are some of the earliest members. Then some members joined in 1945. After 1945, we know very well 1945 what happened. We say it was the end of the Second World War. Then formation of UN, where there was peace now. So most of the members of the Commonwealth joined around 1945. That's after 1945, after Second World War. Now, we have said the main reason for formation is to maintain close relationship between the former colonies of Britain. That's what I have said. And then you have some countries which were not colonized by the Britain. They can apply for membership. So we have one of them is Mozambique. Mozambique was a Portuguese colony. It was colonized by the Portuguese. Then we have Rwanda and Burundi colonized by the Belgians. So this one applied for their membership in the Commonwealth. So there are some of the countries which were not colonized by Britain, but they can apply. When they qualify, they are admitted. Then functions of Commonwealth. It has a common parliament which ensure democracy in very many countries in Africa, or not in Africa, but across the world. It has a common parliament where members are elected to that parliament from some states and so on. Then it sends observers. We have people we call observers during election in some countries. Like recently, I think last week we had election in Burundi. So that's what you're talking about. So Commonwealth sent observers to observe to make sure that election is done in a correct way, in a fair way, and so on. And then it also trained military to promote what we call peace. To also train military wing to promote peace in the member states. So whenever there is a problem in the member states, they can send the military to go and promote peace in those regions. So that is also what you're talking about. Then it promote understanding between the member states, to also promote understanding between the member states. That's what you're talking about. So that's political function. Social function, it encourages trade among member states. So this is political, social. It encourages trade among member states. We know very well trade is very important when it comes to exchange of goods from different countries. Like Kenya can export coffee to UK, that's United Kingdom, London. Then the same people also can export manufactured goods to other countries, so they promote trade. Then also they encourage, provide support for the poor member states. They support the poor member states. Some countries which are poor, they cannot handle some issues like health sector. We have education, they provide financial support for those members as loans and even as grants where they can use for that. That is what you call social function, like that. So I think I will end up on there.